evening, good evening, good evening. She has me laughing already. I'm just so excited about my guest tonight. This is the Make Your Life Work project, and the show is Make Your Life Work. You just have to sometimes. You can't get around that. Tonight, I have Anisah Williams with me, and I guarantee you it'll be a treat. She's, her mother actually is working on the project with us, and she's one of my babies that I stole from her mother for a little while. She worked with me in ministry and in a young adult ministry for a lot of years.
Yes.
So she's dynamic, she's focused, and she won't give up, just like I said in the post on Facebook, if you guys read that. She pushes, she presses, she does what has to be done. And that is how I want to introduce her, but I want her to share a little more about herself as she's led to do.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you for coming, Anisah.
No problem.
And you can pay me for all that stuff I said later.
Let's see. I am, like my biggest accomplishment is that I'm a mom, and I take pride in that. I drive, they are my driven and trying to make things be what they are. And I literally, every time I think I want to give up, I look at them and I'm like, I can't do that.
Oh, okay, so you brought up a question already.
Yes.
So would you say that is one of the, even when you, like you said, when you want to give up, because I know you've I won't say you've been through a lot, you've overcome a lot.
Yes.
Right, and you continue to do that. So is that one of your inspirations?
Yes.
You just can't, because you can't turn it off, you can't say no,
No,
right?
no.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I look at them and I can't say no to them. It's just, I have 4 faces
Right.
that are dependent on me to be that guidance for them.
Right.
And so, not saying that I've never understood that, but to actually be in the parent position is wow,
And that's a good clarification, because it does seem like, oh, that's that makes sense. Of course, that's what. But to actually have to do it is a whole other level of understanding.
It's a whole nother
Absolutely.
understanding.
That's good.
I've been that's the thing. I've been working on learning perspectives of others and understanding those things. So I literally work on being actively positive, work on actively trying to be motivated, actively trying to think of not always being so down, because it can be moments where I'm just like, oh my God, this is horrible.
Overwhelming. Yeah.
Overwhelming, overstimulated. Even today I was overstimulated, but I still, even after all that, after I cried it out, after I've done all that, I'm kind of settled, I'm kind of okay. And then even when I was going to school, I was struggling with that.
Right.
And going to school and taking care of children, still struggling with it. But I still push forward because I'm like, I have a goal. I have something to accomplish. I have something to do.
And that sounds like purpose.
That is.
Okay.
And I can't let that be, I feel like I can't give up on it.
Right, right.
If I give up on it, then what was the purpose of me doing it in the first place?
Good stuff.
I can't do that. That's the same thing when I think about raising my children. I chose to have children. But if I just give up on that life that I put into this world,
right?
Why did I bring them here? I can't do that. No. Nope.
So I think usually later in the show we talk about purpose, but I want to make this point because you just brought it up, maybe unintentionally. Purpose is not like a line and we just walk that line and we get there.
No.
So I think at any point in life, and you tell me if you disagree or agree with it, I think at any point in life, we may have more than one purpose. We have a primary purpose, I believe.
Yes.
But within that comes a whole lot of other times that we have to say, like you said, I brought them in, I'm taking care of them, I'm seeing it through.
Yes.
So how often does that happen to you? Not just the kids, just in life.
In life, I will say for me, I had about probably 8 moments of those that I can think of off the top of my head.
So what do you think? Why do you think that happens? Because I don't want to presume.
I say the first one was when I was a teenager, and I was trying to get my footing and understanding that kind of going to high school, trying to figure out life in high school.
Right, absolutely.
And I literally felt like the eyeball out. So I was like, okay, well, why am I here? I don't think I'm here for a reason.
You really have a strong personality, so I have to tell the audience that she's a strong young woman.
But what's so funny is that when I was in high school, I was really closed in.
Oh, really?
They didn't branch out until later. And that's what I was like, I had to find my footing. Once I got an understanding of who I was in that stage, I was smooth sailing. I didn't have any more issues with people. I didn't have any more conflicts. I didn't have any. My grades were getting up. I actually graduated with extra credits. Like I was just like I was like, look, I'm cool now. Like everything's good. Like I just had to.
So how did you do that? Do you remember? Because I know that's a while ago. But how do you remember in your mind what you decided you needed to do to come into who you were? Does that make sense?
I prayed.
Well, there it
and
is.
it just came to me. Like I prayed before I went to sleep. I woke up and just all of a sudden had a whole different mindset. Don't know exactly what was on my mind, just had a different mindset, and I was just, yeah, I can do this. This is fine. I'm not worried about these people. Like they can say what they want. Like that's fine. But I know me. Like God's got me. I'm okay. And every time I go through these changes, that's all I'm doing. I pray the night before, and then I wake up with a different mindset.
Refreshed, yeah.
I feel refreshed every time.
And I love that you said every time I go through, because in my opinion, I don't think I get up and I start the journey and it goes to the end. I think I'm up, I'm down, I'm around, I'm left, I'm right, I'm up.
Yes.
So purpose to me is not like a straight line anywhere.
Yeah, no. When I say in high school, I wanted my career to be a veterinarian. And then my dad told me what veterinarians do, and I said, never mind.
I'm not going to ask you to repeat which part of what they do.
I immediately changed my mind. And then I was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and go into doing like occupational therapy. I was like, I love helping people. And then I was looking into going into it, and that didn't work out.
Okay.
I end up going back to St. Scott's Health Careers, and then I said pharmacy tech. I was like, well, I can do that. And then I got into it, and they was like, well, you can do either the certificate or you can do the degree. And I was like, nah, I want the degree. Like, I can get my certificate, I can get my license. Like, granted, y'all gonna give that to me regardless, but I want the degree.
Okay, let's go. Can I take you back?
Yeah.
I think you're just hitting a lot of really good notes.
Yeah.
Right? People say, well, I tried, but did you keep trying? And you just said, yeah, if they closed that door, like, if that didn't work, let me try this, let me try. Because in your heart and in your soul and in your mind, you have to produce something.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's really important. I might have made the words up, but that's basically what you were saying.
Yes.
And I think it's important to know that you have to produce something. Even if you don't know your purpose, you have to be producing if you think you know, right? So that's really a good point. I just had to stop there for a minute.
It did, because I really, like I say, I ended up getting into the medical field because I had that drive to like always want to help people. I can't shut it off. Even if I try, I can't be like empathetic or sympathetic. I can't shut it off. I just have that passion where I'm just like, I feel their pain. Yes. I feel their need, their wants, their desires, and I'm like, I'm here. There was a night I remember where I was working at the hospital overnight, and there was a young lady that was going through a situation where she was being abused, and she came in for help and everything. She couldn't leave there because she didn't have a ride. I was getting off work, and I took her home. I was like, well, where are you staying? She was like, oh, I'm staying out this way. I said, that's not even that far from me. Grab your stuff. Come on, we gonna go.
That is so funny because that's funny because that's who I am. I'm the person that like tips fast food workers because they don't make enough, but they don't know me, so I do it so they want.
Yeah.
So I'm that person, but the funny thing is, my mouth wouldn't tell you I'm that person.
No, it wouldn't.
Right, just like you, we're very honest, and we say, sometimes we say more than we need to say, but there's that compassion, there's that real bottom line caring for other individuals, and understanding that there is purpose to what's going on. You can jump on there. Go ahead.
I was like, I just couldn't help it. Like I had to get into it. Like I took care of my grandmother before she passed away. I help out my family. Sometimes I sacrifice myself and help out everybody else before I even think about it.
But because you talk. Like, oh, she's mean, she's this, she's that. And that's how, people say that they come to me like that. But I think that you decided who you wanted to be. And we never have one thing. It's always a lot of stuff in us. You know what I mean? I have the potential to be this, but I also have a greater potential to be that. And I think that's what purpose is, finding what the greater potential in you is. Yes. And I hear you saying that that's how you move.
Yeah, that's how I knew.
I just
knew it like naturally. Like I just had that in me. I couldn't shake it. Nobody could sit there and try to. Nobody could tell me like, oh no, you shouldn't do that.
Right,
I'm like, who?
I remember that.
As stubborn as I am, you said I can't do what? Fine, I'm gonna show you that I can do it. Like, it's gonna happen one way or another. It may not happen the way you want it, but it's gonna happen. And then I even try to like encourage my coworkers. They like talking about going back to school, and they're like, "Well, I got this going on, I got that going on." And I'm like, "So what's stopping you still?"
Exactly.
I was like, "You can still do this." I was like, "Just think about it, brainstorm, rearrange your support group, rearrange how you do certain stuff." I said, "It's possible.
Right.
Anything is possible."
That's good.
They was like, "Oh well, what about you?" I said, "Well, I want to go back to school." I said, "And I'm going to figure out how to do it. I'm definitely gonna figure it out. My children are getting older.
Right.
They're getting more responsibilities. Like, I'm doing more things different. I'm finding different paths. Like, I'm connecting with different people. Like, I'm gonna make it happen."
You're such a fireball, and it's so funny when you are that person that just speaks your truth. It can come off as like pushy or arrogant, but really, I think what you're saying is when you know what you need to do, right, and you've accepted it, you can't let anything hinder you. You have to, you know what I mean? Like you just said, I'm going for it. It's happening. It's in my book. I'm going to do it. It's just a matter of me seeing when the time is right.
Yeah. And
So that's encouragement
And I
to
feel
people.
like, and when I was telling you, I have
That's
empathy
good.
for you. I said, because I was there.
Right.
Where I was stuck and I was like in my rut and I didn't know how to move out of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Like, why is this gotta keep happening? Well, why can't I get this done? Well, why does this keep breaking down? Well, why does this keep doing this?
Those whys.
Like the whys, the whys, the whys. And I'm like, I was there. I went into my little depressed state. I was like, but then, like I said, cried it out, prayed, woke up the next day and was like, cool. We gonna write this out. We gonna plan it out. We gonna do the next step.
Talk to the feet, right?
Like I was just like,
Talk to the feet.
no, like it's just like I said. I'm like, you can't tell me that you don't feel better after that. Like, have you tried it? It's like I'm like I say, I tell everybody, I was like, you gotta write the meanest letter you wrote to the person that's bothering you at that moment. Just to cleanse your soul.
Right.
Write it out. I was like, not saying you have to give it to him. Just write it out.
But you didn't say that, didn't you?
I didn't say you have to give it to him.
Most people say, no, don't give it to them. You're just processing
But I'm saying,
it.
like, I mean, like, if you feel like you giving it to them gets it off your chest still, and they don't have to receive it the way you want them to receive it because you just said it, let it go after that. And then after you let it go, move to the next step, which is whatever is going to bring you your peace and happiness. Don't dwell on it. I said, I'm a firm believer. I speak my truth. Whether that person receives it or not.
But it's your truth.
It's my
like
truth.
You said, yeah.
And so that's why I said, like, I don't give up. I'd rather cleanse me with all that negativity and then wake up with a new mindset of
That's how I
life.
process too, though. That's so funny. I mean, it could be like this, like henny penny, the sky's falling, and I'm worried about the roof caving in, and I'm running around, and an hour later, after I have my little time, I'm Nina again. I'm back in position. Because life can be tough. There can be a lot coming at you, especially when you're open. And I know you're open like I am. People, you don't meet strangers. And people say, I can call Anisah, I can call Anisah, I can call Anisah.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, my best friend, I was talking to him on the way coming here, and we talk about everything. And we just crack jokes. And most of the time when we crack jokes, it's literally just us releasing some of that stress, that pressure that we're going through. And then after that, he's like, okay, so what are we doing next? Well, what do you need? What do you need me to do? I'm like, that's the encouragement I need. Like, about his godchildren, what you need? I say the same thing. What about my godbabies? What do you need? Even though I may not actually have it, it's still the fact of it is that just asking that question. How are you today? How can I make you feel better today? Did you wake up with peace on your heart today? Like, whatever. Like, why not be like that?
I'm a silent like that. I don't, because I'm just really not a people person, I don't think.
I'm not either.
And so though I care deeply, I'm not really good on presence.
Oh.
Being physically there.
You know what else I'm not good at?
What?
Like, that's why I'm not good at compliments.
At giving or receiving them?
Receiving them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not good
that's
at
normal, though, for people that are giver. You're a giver or something like that.
I'm not good at compliments. So I always tell my mom, when somebody gives me a compliment, like, I was like, say how pretty you are. And I tell my mom, I feel like my mind, I think I sound like I have an accent, but I don't. So my response is like, oh, no, thank you. That's so cute. That's so sweet. Like I just immediately just
Is that like going goofy?
Yeah. I just go real goofy. And they'll be like, it's like they'll think they're like, oh, she's being bashful or shot. No, you don't understand.
No, it's real awkward.
Yeah, and I said, I'm like, I get awkward and I can't. It's an automatic mechanism that kick in, and I'm just like, I need to work on.
Yeah, because that's abusing yourself.
Yes.
And that's not. I think I could be wrong, but I think we go further in life when we acknowledge the things in us that'll help us go further.
Yes.
So you have it, and it's just, you just have to sit in it.
Yes.
Think about it when you're pushing that wall down.
Either I do that or I'll say, somebody will say, well, you're so amazing. I'm like, well, I'm just me. Like,
that's okay though. That's a good answer.
And I say, I'm like, I'm just me.
Receiving amazing.
Yeah, and I said, like, I was like, I'm just me. I was like, I was like, I just.
As long as you don't say, well, you could be like me if you let me train.
No, I don't say that. No, no, I don't do that to people. No, I might make a couple jokes like just those that I care about. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, you're so amazing. I was like, duh, I know. Like,
yeah, that's the.
But I say like those are those that really know me. Know I'm just joking. Like, but typically I'm just.
That's to cover you not being able to receive a compliment.
Yes.
Actually. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean.
Well, I've said stupider stuff than that. So. Okay, so let's and we can come back.
Okay.
I'm not leaving you behind. I just want to kind of jump into one of these questions.
Okay.
I usually will choose one or two and then let you choose one. Do you want to choose first, or do you want me to just jump in?
You can jump in.
Okay, give me a second because I haven't really. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. Wait a minute. What is one goal that you're working on, and what will it mean to your future if you complete it? And you can take your time to think it through, because I know your hands are in a lot of places.
I don't know. I got the biggest goal right now. My goal that I'm working on is creating custom shirts.
Okay.
And I've got plenty of designs, and like it's mostly for like St. Louis, but it's got black art, like black faces on it. And I was like, you know what? Everybody makes shirts. Everybody do these things, but I don't really see a lot that represents St. Louis and St. Louis.
Okay.
So I was like, well, you know what? I can do that.
Well, you will now. No, I'm just
joking. I was like, I can do that. And then I was like, oh, yeah, guess what? I said, my sister is in Dallas. There's plenty of people that moved from St. Louis to Dallas that she can sit there and promote that as well. I said, I got to build up, so I'm start, promoting things. And I said, but I know that can be the start. And with the start of that being amazing just for me to put my hand on it, having my children a part of it brings like so much joy to me.
That's why we have this box. We go there sometimes. Don't be embarrassed. Just let it go. Let it flow.
It brings because they are just as creative as me.
Right, they're amazing kids.
Yeah, and they have that. They love to draw. So
they're smart. They're well behaved.
And then the fact is that they see me doing it and they want to be a part of it makes me feel like as if one, it's a bonding thing for us, and I love that. But it also gives them the sense of understanding what it means to start their own idea of what generational wealth can be.
I love this relationship because there's such, how do I say this and not sound insulting since I don't have kids, but I feel like there's such a void in the bonding that people are able to do with their kids. It's because I guess life is really busy and life happens. Yeah. And so I love that you're very intentional about that. And I can tell they're happy, you know what I mean? Yeah. So how did you know to do that? I mean, you didn't wake up one day and say, okay, I'm just going to be the mother that pulls my kids in and we're going to have a relationship. And how did you do that?
My typical family, mom, dad, sisters, we weren't really real touchy-feely. We love each other, but we weren't really all of that touchy-feely. And it's so much with them, granted I get overstimulated sometimes when they don't want to touch me, but with them is that I was like, well, I want them to know what that's like. I want them to feel that.
And that's not bad. That's good. And that you took from the best and you put your own.
And it's like this is saying, it wasn't. That's the saying. I appreciate my parents.
That's what I'm saying. That's how it should be.
Granted, I understand from their perspective. There's no handbook on how to raise children, so you do the best you can, 100%, and I don't doubt that. They did an amazing job raising me and my sisters because we turned out great. We did. We're all here. We all got
Productive,
jobs. We're all
absolutely.
productive. We've all
That's
had
the
careers.
measurement nowadays,
I've always think in my head. I tell my mom, I was looking at her like, guess what? None of your daughters had children, when they were in high school. So clearly, you did a great job. But just not saying
I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah, this is a joke.
Crossed the,
Yeah,
I know,
it's a joke, but it's
well,
just
it's okay
something-
though to do. I mean, I would think you feed off of what's been given to you and you add to it. Like maybe they made you eat peas as a kid. You don't like peas, so when you grow up, you don't eat peas.
Yeah,
so it's not. Yeah, I'm
so
absolutely certain you're not saying they didn't do a good job. You just
that-
wanted to do something
I
different.
wanted that difference.
Yeah.
I just wanted them
You added to.
I wanted to add it to it and everything. And so, and I also feel like because I've done that with them, now my family's doing that with us. I get that. They get that with my mom.
Right. Good.
I get that from my sisters.
Right.
Like we're all doing those things. We're silly and goofy when we do it most of the time, but we feel like we don't always argue as much as we used to.
And that's the thing about purpose. That's a perfect example to me of small purpose. When you can look back, and I'm able to do that now in my family. When you can look back and see the trend that you started, you know what I mean? Like whenever we have an event and they hold hands and they say, "Come on in to pray," so there's an expectation that I'm supposed to pray.
Yeah.
Which is good because they recognize the value of that part of my purpose.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah,
That's really good.
I see it and I'm like,
Yeah, that's good.
it just warms my heart.
And everybody brings it. You just sometimes don't recognize that you brought it.
Yep.
So that's the bonus.
Yeah.
Okay, good job.
I love that bond. Like I say, I get overstimulated, but I loved it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
She's always saying overstimulated.
I do. Like sometimes I'll be like, they come and want to touch. Like they'll be like, "Mommy, I want to come give you a hug," and I'm like, "What do you want?" They was like, "We just want to be next to you." I said, "For what?" And they be like, "We just want." And then they come over and they'll be like, they'll touch me, and then they'll touch me, and I'm like, "Okay, I love you too."
You know what? I'm gonna give you hope because I used to be that way when I moved to St. Louis. My mom moved in with me. I moved my mother in, and she wanted to babysit my brother's first baby. Well, she was his second baby, and I said, "I'm not having a baby in my house." And then they brought the portable pot. I was like, "Oh no, she's not pooping in my," And now it's just so different. It's just I think about everything I would have missed out on.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get out of that. You got out of that.
No, that's what I did. That's what I said. I don't do it as much.
They forced
like,
me,
they,
but
And that's why I feel like sometimes my children feel like sometimes they feel like there's a favoritism, and I'm like, nobody's a favorite. Everybody gets the same love across the board. And it was like, oh well, they'd be like, oh well, this one feels like you treat the two younger two better than this one. I said, no, I need you to sit back and watch what happens. They come to me and force love on me. I don't force it on them. I said, so if you think you're a favorite, you're not. They are literally, they're doing the opposite. They force it on me.
And kids have different needs too.
Yes, that's what I told them. I said,
they don't know that when they're young.
I told them, I said, you're just different. You like making little creature noises and stuff.
See, I'm not clingy at all. I was the one that was up in the tree somewhere by myself. I mean, I just was like really independent when I came out the womb.
That's how I was when I was younger. I was always by myself. My sisters would go play by themselves and do whatever they want.
That's exactly.
And then every time they come in my room, my mom was talking about, she's like, don't you want to play with them? No. No.
Got my whole thing going on here, right?
I said, I want to sit in my room, read my book, be in my peace. Like, no more. No.
That's funny. Somebody was telling me, one of my pastors was telling me that she was giving me a vision. She said, and I see you sitting on this sun porch, and you have this. I had this ugly dress that I loved. It was a black and white dress, and a big yellow flower. I don't even know how that matches, right? But she saw it, so I said, "Oh, she's real." She said, "You used to talk to God." I said, "I thought I was like all these years." They said Nita had an imaginary friend whose name was something, and I thought, well, okay, that was true, but it wasn't. And so I'm saying that to say, and that kind of became my purpose. Now I work in ministry and stuff. So when would you say that you the first inkling of purpose? The first like, maybe I'm supposed to do this. What was it that made you say something was what you were supposed to do? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
That is a very good question.
I told you that long story so I could ask that question.
I know. It's a very good question because I have to think about that.
Well, maybe, it could be that you have a lot of things that you
I
feel
do. I
purpose
have
to
a
do.
lot of things I consider like my purpose.
Okay. Well, that's good then.
But I would say the biggest one was like I said, my positivity, like bringing that light into the room. And the funny thing is, I didn't realize that's what it was. My family gave me that nickname, Sunshine, like sunflower, some from rainbows, some peace, love, and harmony. And I'm like, where y'all get? I'd be like, where y'all get this from? Do y'all not see me scowling and mean? And I'm just kind of quiet. And it was like, no, you're just always like, we can work it out. We can do this. We can just do. I'm like, what? No, I don't. But I do.
That's
I
funny.
do.
I have to juxtapose that with, when I've seen you. But I think the good thing about when I've seen you is I haven't seen that part, but I have seen you own yourself. You know what I mean? Unapologetically, I'm coming, and this is how I'm coming. This is where I'm sitting. This is what I'm saying.
I get
so
that.
I think that's really powerful.
I just
Good, bad, or ugly. I think it's powerful, and I think if people are smart enough to receive it as empowering, it is, because I think it makes other people say, I think I can step out like that.
You know what's so funny? I always think, because I remember the moment you're talking about.
It was a couple of them.
What
There's
played?
more than one.
I know, but the biggest one when I was pregnant with my daughter. What came about that?
I did tell you that.
Yeah, what came about that was that me and my mom got into it the night before. And before we walked into that church, she was like, "Oh, you just cover up the."
I remember you telling me that.
I was like, "What I'm covering up for? This is what it is. Like, I don't care." And I said, "What are these people gonna do for me? Nothing." And I just stormed off from her. But it was just like I was kind of being rebellious, but at the same time, it was like, "Why are you having me like cover up something that I chose to do?" Like,
well, yeah,
and
understanding to her, it was a tough spot.
That's what I said. Like looking back now, I get that, but
and it was less about for her than for you.
Yeah, that's what I said. And like in that
That's
moment, I was just like, no.
You just told the wrong child that, because my sister, I have a sister that's like that. Don't. If you want her to do something, push her in the opposite way.
I was like, you steadily telling me what I can't do, and I'm like, I'm grown. No, I can do this. So I just know, I
suffered with her, at that church. Yeah. just so I just want to make sure she can hear us over there and know she wasn't alone.
No, like we still have those moments. And she's like,
well, I think that's a normal response, though. It's more instead of being an insulting response, I would say it was a protective response. So it wasn't like be ashamed. It was like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't want people talking about you and treating you badly.
Yes.
So
that's what I'm saying. I can look
back and
see
see
it now. But in that moment, I was
You used to be just a little bit defiant.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was literally like, nah.
She was in a ministry with the young adults, so I can say I experienced some of that. I used to pray for Valerie a lot.
I mean, I still have my moments being hard-headed.
Okay, one more question. I'm gonna let you. Well, why don't you pick one?
Okay.
There are like 10 of them, but we can wait. Man, she's not my little baby anymore. She's wow.
Oh, that's a good one.
You can pick more. Don't worry.
No, because I'm thinking like
I definitely don't mind.
That's a good one, but I don't be doing a lot.
That's okay. Maybe it'll make you think about
it. That's funny. I would.
You don't have to. Don't pre-think the answer. If it sounds interesting, give it to me, and I'll ask the question, and then you can think about it. You can do more than one. I don't know why I gave it to you guys. I know she would analyze.
Oh, okay. 13.
13. Okay.
Yes. That's like
it's the last one. That's funny.
I thought about 13. I was like, there was another one. I was like, oh, that was good too. Yeah, no.
Okay. What superpower would you like to have, and how would you use it? And the second part of that question that's not on here is, it has to benefit someone besides you. Like it could be your family and you, or someone else.
Okay.
So what superpower would you like to have, and how would you use it, and who would it benefit?
Okay.
I wanted to
I
make
wish
it hard for you.
I could have my superpower, like, it's like a kid. Like, what is it called? Telekinesis, so to speak. I wish I could have. Is it like
Describe it. I want to see if
is it telekinesis like you can read people's minds?
that's right.
I wish I could have that bad.
Really?
I do. I want to be able to, like, because I feel like if I have that, I can help everybody better.
But do you think you would respond as well?
I probably
If somebody
would.
walked up to you and said, "Oh, here comes this jerk."
I probably would. My face gives away a lot of stuff too. I probably would, but I feel like it'd be beneficial for my family. Like, my biggest person that I have the most that I cannot read their mind on is my dad. If I could read his mind and find out what makes
Say
him
it loudly,
work,
so if he sees this,
man, I wish if I could read his mind and understand why he moves the way he moves, why he speaks the way he speaks, why he does what he does. Oh my gosh! When I say
look who's
we
talking.
would,
Wait a minute, hang on. Can we put a period? Not a period, but what do you call it? A pause right there. I don't know your father well, but you sound like you just described Denise.
I know. That's what I said. I just be like,
You sound like you just described yourself.
and that's what I said. Like, I know.
So what's your mark? I mean, if you find the answer for why you move like that, then you'll understand why he moves like that, right? No?
No.
Why? Isn't it the same?
No.
You don't move. You don't think. That's what I just said. I thought
No.
you moved.
No.
You sound like you move like him.
Yes. No. How we process certain stuff might be similar, but but how we go about it is not.
Okay.
Like, I'm more loving. My dad is more just. What's the best word?
To take care of what you need to take care of.
Yeah, like he's not that one. He's very guarded.
Did you say you more loving?
Yes, like, yeah, like when it comes to, like, my family, like I said, I take care of them. Like, I drop whatever I can for them to do what I got to do.
But there is a side of you
Yes.
that appears to be like kind of shut off and removed.
Yes. And
So,
like, so
in fairness,
my dad is, like, really, really guarded, like, all the time guarded.
And
And
that's-
I understand I have those moments too, and I do. But I was just like, I want to be able to get in so we can have that better relationship. So that way, because if I feel like if I have that better relationship with him, he can have that better relationship with my sisters. He can have a better relationship with my mom.
Well, have you ever told him that I'm guarded like you are?
I have.
Yeah.
I
You
have.
sure?
Yes.
You sure you didn't just say, "You're so guarded, let's sit down and talk"?
No, we had a whole blow up, and I was just like, I said, you make things difficult, and he was just like,
But your things are difficult. See,
Yes.
And sometimes that's what life is about. Life is, I think, as we grow, we have to survive. We have to say, what they are is okay.
Yes.
For them, and it's okay for me, right? Because what I am has to be okay for them too. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has some things.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I said. Like, I just want it.
And no one person can hold up progress.
No.
Just so you know that. So you can't say, well, if he did this, we do that. No.
No.
Yeah. So
But it's just like
everybody has that.
I do, but I also think, like, not just with him. Like, so funny. I'd be like, man, if I could think in his mind, I'm like, oh, I could find him friends. He could stop being sitting in the house all day.
I don't hang out a lot.
No, I know, but I was just like, I be thinking like, I
don't know him that well, but
I know.
I'm just giving you another another perspective.
I was just like,
Sometimes people are at peace with themselves. You know what I mean? And they just don't like a whole lot of stuff.
But
And sometimes life is just good.
Yeah, and I also think, like, me having that type of superpower.
He's quiet though, but he was really nice and personable.
What's so funny? If I also have that superpower, I can go out in the community and actually, like,
And go crazy.
get so much stuff done. Like, I'm like, what you need? Oh, you need this connection?
Do you think it would be overwhelming? How would you charge down?
Oh,
And I'm not saying don't pick your superpower. I'm just saying, because I know you've thought about it.
I have, because like I think in my head, like X-Men, how he got the little helmet to kind of like shield it off. I'm like, yep, poop, done. All that silence, just to kind of quiet myself down.
That's
I
funny.
have thought about every superpower I could think of. I thought
That's
about if
funny.
I could fly, how much stuff I could get done, be just here and back. And then after I got it all done, I could just put my feet up and do nothing. How I can move things with my mind and I don't have to get out of bed.
See, I am not that idealistic. I always think of, oh, if I could do this, and then I say, well, you'd have to do this too.
No,
You know what I mean? I always think of
that's
the
what I'm saying.
counter to it.
I think of every superpower and I'm like, how can I use that to
Really,
good
I
use?
always think of the backside of that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe I could touch somebody and they'd change or they'd be happy, but then we'd have a whole happy life and
No, I don't
nobody
want
would
that.
be
I don't-
honest. You know what I'm
no.
saying? Things
Yeah.
like that. There's always a good side to the bad side and the
Yeah.
bad side to the good side. So I'm too analytical. I
Oh.
can't even.
No, I
You
just,
ask me as for a superpower, I don't know. I have
No,
to
I
think
love
about it
it.
for centuries.
I love things about that because I feel like if it adds a little spice to my life.
Yeah, that's good.
And
though.
it's a good.
And there's
good,
no
like-
right answer. It's just how we respond to it.
Oh, yeah, no, I want to have powers. I've always thought about I should have
That's
powers.
scary, Anisah. Okay. Let me see. I'll let you pick another one because you saw a couple that you want, and I'm going to save that one that I
Okay.
want for last. Thank you for being so engaging and honest. I think that's the reason I asked you to be on the show, because I know people, sometimes when you say the word purpose, they say, oh, that's so tired. We talk about that all the time. But it is a life changer. It's a game changer. If you can just figure out one of the 10 things that you're supposed to do that you could do. You know what I mean? And once you are successful at that one, you
Yeah.
build up stamina to go to the rest of them. So thanks for talking about that with us. Go ahead and cry. Other people have cried. Tears are healthy.
We can do number 3.
All right, you already been thinking about your answer.
No, because I don't even know what it could be. Like, honestly.
What one thing have you always wanted to do but can't seem to convince yourself to do it?
Damn.
You can take your time. We're waiting on you. You're good. This is your moment.
That's one thing I can't seem to convince myself to do.
Have you pushed it so far back in your mind?
that is the one thing.
Like, I shouldn't eat the cookies, so let me put them in the back of the cabinet.
No, that's. I was just thinking, give up. I can't seem to get myself to give up. Like, just to take a break. I
Okay,
can't-
so tell me. So I want you to clarify for
Okay.
me. You said you can't seem to allow
Like-
yourself to give up, and then you said like just to take a break. To me, those could be two different things.
Mm-hmm.
One is I persevere and I overcome. The other is I do too much and I'm moving all the time.
I do too much.
Okay.
I can't seem, I can't seem to just stop and literally pause.
Well, I have nothing for you there because that's probably what.
I don't do that. Like,
I don't know.
I
I
try- like-
used to say, "Sit down, Nina, sit down."
like when I go home and children are asleep and I'm like sitting in the house, I may be sitting still, but my mind is still
racing,
moving,
yeah.
and I just can't. I can't. Like, I'm trying, and so I put on a show to try to I put on something, but I think like I said, a reality TV show, and I'd be thinking like, man, my life really has got all these drama and everything, and I look at somebody else like, man, it's not that bad.
Exactly.
But even when I'm thinking like, man, it's not that bad, I'm still thinking about my own stuff.
Absolutely.
And I can't seem to shut it off. I can't seem to just.
Do you journal?
I stopped, but
That
I
helped me when I did it, but I don't.
I
when I
stopped,
don't do this.
and I think because I think the reason why I stopped is because it wasn't feeding me
Right,
the way
you
it
still-
was.
yeah.
It wasn't giving me that release that I needed.
Okay.
So what which I know I probably shouldn't do, but I sometimes will take, when I'm driving into work, if something's on my mind, I know they say like you should talk to yourself, but I talk it out.
No,
I
that's
know.
the best thing to do.
Yeah, but I just
has the answer.
talk it out.
That's good.
And then after I talk it out, I found out like that makes me feel a little better. Just a little bit. Like, instead of me writing it out, I'm saying it out like I'm blabbing, and then I'm fine.
I'm a huge proponent of talking to yourself, and not like all day long.
No.
But, talking things out with yourself and saying, well, I really want to do this. I do it all the time. I mean, it works for me. So.
Like, even when I have moments where I'm, like, really, really upset about something, or I had a conversation with somebody, and I just argue it out. I had a whole situation yesterday with a coworker, and in that moment, I knew if I reacted in that moment, it was going to go completely left. I knew that.
Right.
So instead, I talked it out on the drive home. Granted, I talked to a couple of friends and everything, but I talked it on the drive home. And then this morning, I was able to have a conversation with her.
Okay.
And be in a calmer state, and us realize that we had a miscommunication.
Right. Which is often the case,
that's often what it was. She apologized, I apologized, and we moved on. Like, that's all it needed to be. Like, I was like, I don't want to go to work with this type of animosity and anger and everything like that. I don't want to do all that. I want to be in a positive space.
And I've had to learn that. Yeah, that's tough though, because I like to reason immediately. I like to talk it out, and everybody's not really open like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do too. I probably don't do it as well as you do yet, but I try to just walk it through.
Yeah.
Like you said, talk to yourself.
And I said that, and she was just
That's
like,
good.
and she was like, I'm a phone call away if you need to just talk to me in that moment. I said, and I tell her, I said, I had to take process it. I had to take a pause on it. I said, because I knew
that's good.
That was not going to be what it was going to be in that moment. I didn't want to be that person. I said, I wanted us to actually conversate to get a resolution, so that was going to be positive for us to continue to work together.
Well, that's good. You have a head start on me. I'm learning that, right? Because I'm a resolution person. I'm like, okay, there's an elephant in the room. Let's talk about it. Let's talk. But I'm better now. I'm doing some of what you said, but it took me all this time.
Oh, well.
Because I don't like friction. I don't like discord. I don't like, I like to be straight. I had to go through it with my children's father. We were constantly always butting heads. Right.
And so at one point, when I shed my last tear of all the drama and everything, I shed my last tear, and I was just like, so every time he was like starting with me, I was just calmly like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Or no, that's not what it is. Or no, I had to like reanalyze, like we both can't be yelling and screaming at each other. I said, no, one of us got to be the sensible one and calm. So I was like, so in my mind, I always think, well, we both can't be angry. So if you want to be angry, I'll let you be angry, the one. I'll just be the quiet, calm one. Yeah. And I realized that every time I was calmer, it just made him more upset. And I'm like, well, I mean,
That's good. It does do that, though. That's funny.
Yeah, and then eventually, maybe a couple of days later, after he's calmed down, he'll come back and be like, okay, I shouldn't have approached you like that. I said, okay, that's fine. We can talk about it now. And I'm glad you're there now. I said, but I knew we weren't going. There was no point of us both being.
Yeah, and I'm just learning that because I hate friction. I like resolution, right? Even if it's the truth and it hurts somebody and they hurt me, whatever. I like to resolve it, and most people don't.
Yeah.
They don't want to say, okay, well, I took my shoe off and I did throw it at you.
Yeah.
They'll say, well, the shoe slipped off. So you're right. It just take a moment and go home and process it.
I just need a moment just to cool off and get my thoughts together. I said, granted, I was still a little peeved about what it was. I said, but I was able to handle it in a more respectable manner that way we both understood was respect. Like, it wasn't going to be tension. I said, and I literally had the moment, she was like, oh, no, you doing this. And I said, okay, that is your perspective. I'm not going to take away from that. But understand.
That is your perspective.
Understand this. That's not how I move.
That's good, though, because you honored the space that person was in. Instead of saying, well, that's not how I went. You honored.
Yeah.
And that's big.
Yeah.
We should all be chewing on that one. That's big. So let me check. I'm going to check and see if do we have any questions? All righty.
Oh.
Well, tell them they have 5 minutes. No. Okay, we're ready, Ali.
Okay, questions for Anisah. After going through life as an adult, what's one thing you would say to your younger self right now?
Run. No, just playing.
Good answer.
If I can go back to my younger self, I would say give yourself grace. It's so hard, like, you're not perfect. Like, you can't have it all together. Like,
right, exactly.
I did. I thought I was like, I need to have it together right now. Do this, da da da. And then now I'm like, you know, if it happens, it happens. You know, if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not the end of the world. Like, I'm also gonna find another way to get to that goal.
Right,
It's just
exactly.
not gonna be right then and there.
That's
Like,
huge, though, because I'm still working on that.
yeah,
So that's good.
I had several tries with community college first before I went to St. Louis College of Health Careers. I had several jobs where they didn't make it out where they were supposed to, and then when I actually finally got into St. Louis College of Health Careers and how the path was going, that's when I was like, see, I knew I could get here. I just needed to redirect it in a different way.
Right, approach it
I had to go
differently.
through the stuff I had to go through and everything. And like I always thought, when I lost my job before I went to school and I was looking for something, nothing was coming up. And I was like, you know what? Let me just go to school. Let me go to school and just see. And then I went in there, did the stuff, and started working. I was just like, oh, this is what I was supposed to be doing.
The universe was blocking.
It was blocking.
You're not going that way. You might want to turn the corner.
I said I was blocking. I was doing all this extra stuff for nothing. I didn't need to be over here. I needed to be over here. Like, that's what I needed to do. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. So, and then I kept going the path. And then, like I said, I went to school, got my grades up, like, took the classes, dropping my 2 older boys off at daycare, and then studying late at night, and then eventually did my externship at Walgreens. And while I'm doing my externship, they were like, when I say I did my externship, I finished it. We had, probably about 16 weeks or so to do it, or whatever. I finished it early because I had extra hours because they liked me so much to come in on the weekend, picking up shifts. I was doing so good, to the point where they wanted to hire me, but they didn't have the space. So then I got hired at another location at Walgreens. And then when they got short-staffed, they was like, well, you're already working at Walgreens. Just come over here and work. And I did. I was able to still bounce around and have those kind of moments. And then after leaving Walgreens, got into doing medical records, got into long-term care pharmacy, got into working at the hospital. Now I'm working over at this place doing, like, child psychiatry. Like, I like how that it's moving me in a path that I didn't even think that I would even, my younger self would have never thought about doing.
Well, one thing you said is a blessing, though, because I think we spend our entire lives trying to figure out how to handle the brick wall. You know, the thing that you've been trying to do and you can't do it. And you just said, if you just take a deep breath, you know, God, the Holy Spirit, the universe, whatever, will say, go this way. You know, so that's huge. A lot of us are still learning that.
Yeah.
Have you made any dreams come true or still working on some dreams?
That's a good question.
Well,
'Cause
tell
it's
us
like,
the truth.
it's like 50-50. Like, my biggest dream was to have peace in my heart.
Okay.
Took some time to get there,
Right.
but I accomplished it. I may still have my moments of struggling through, because I'm human,
Oh, yeah,
of doing
absolutely.
things, but not to the point where I'm holding animosity, anger, hatred,
Clear
or
head,
anything.
clear heart. Yeah, good. That's good. That's good.
As
Anisah.
much as I still, like I said, I'm still human. As much as I still get frustrated about certain things, and the title said, I don't let it just define where my heart is.
Yes.
Now, I still have dreams that I want to accomplish. I want to be able to have, like, ownership of my own home. I want to have, and not just ownership of my own home, I want it built from the ground up.
Right. Okay.
I want to be able to have, like, to the point where I want it to build from the ground up. I want to have a whole compound. I want my family around. I love them
That's
dearly.
funny. I used
I
to
want
say
everybody.
that
I want
too.
everybody's little homes,
Yeah,
like,
that's
close
what we
by,
used to
and
talk
then
about all the time.
because if they're close by, I don't have to drive too far to go
Exactly.
get them.
Yep,
And
exactly.
and bug them, to the point where I know that my mother, especially she's over my house now, I can sit there and knock on her door and she's like, "Why are you here?" No, better your question is, "Why are you over here?"
Yes.
Like, I want to be able to have those moments even more so.
Okay.
I want to accomplish the dream of having my own business. I want to have the dreams of accomplishing that, still be able to see my children grow as the people that they are, because I'm so fascinated by them every day. I just am. Each personality, I see something like, oh, that's a little bit of me, and then I'm like, that's I don't know who that is. Like, so I still got things that I'm still
That's
thinking
good,
about.
though. That's good.
Yeah,
As
like I
it
said,
should
but the
be.
biggest one is that having peace in my heart. It took a long
That's a
time for me
big
to
one.
get there.
Yeah.
It did. It took a long time for me to get there, and
That's a gift.
I'm more happy that it's there.
Okay. All right.
Oh, this might kind of answer the last question.
Okay.
Are you at a place in your life right now that you didn't think you would be?
Yes, I didn't think, after all my struggles, challenges, obstacles, whatever you want to call it, after all of that, I did not think I was going to be here. I didn't even have a clue. I had dreams when I was little thinking I was going to go off to college, I was going to be married, I was going to have, kids, going to have my house, and, like typical dreams.
I was gonna
But
say that's typical.
the path got diverted to be something else, and I didn't think that I would have 4 amazing children. I didn't think I would have the support system that I have. I didn't think I was able to build relationships with other people, like genuine friendships. I didn't think I was gonna get any of that stuff. I really didn't. I thought I was gonna be a lone wolf for the rest of my life.
That's the beautiful thing about life.
And then things changed, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah. And sometimes they change in spite of us, so that's good too. We don't always have to have the answer.
Yeah,
Good job. Good job.
yeah,
So did you have any questions for me or comments you want to make?
yeah. We're Chicken Little.
Oh, Lord. She's back to Chicken Little, which means it's kind of a wrap, you guys.
All right, I got food on the brain. Look.
Any last words?
I will say, if anybody feels like as if you're stuck, you got to give up, you got second thoughts, second guesses, whatever it may be, please do not think that that's your end. Go to bed with a smile on your face. Actively start thinking about that. Go to bed with a smile on your face. Watch how often you wake up with that smile. Watch how much you walk in like this, floating. Because I float.
Well, I don't think there's anything else that I can say. That's it. That's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. Thank you, Anisah. It went just as well as I thought it would go. I'm so proud of you, the you that I knew and know. I know a lot of your struggles because we've been pretty close, and she's proof. You stick to it, move through it, and then you get some of the life that you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So good night, everybody, and thanks so much
Bye.
for joining in.
Yeah.
Now I have to do it too. Bye.